Listener discretion advised. The content, well, no matter what I talk about, there will always be those who will take offense. That's just the way it is. Okay? So, YouTube has informed me that blah, 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 terms and conditions. So, the ugliest individuals banded together to mandate beauty. The ugliest people, in quotes, are the eugenicists who promoted cosmetics procedures. They encouraged Botox and nose jobs, breast and calf implants, and butt lifts, filled with fat from your big guts. Eugenicists have created a toxic beauty culture, but my indigenous roots and close to black skin are the most beautiful I've ever seen. Grandmother was always thought to be 20 to 30 years younger than her actual age, and her features were exquisite. Her hair was coveted, and she was envied, and so she was disliked, even hated. Since the eugenicists lied about beauty because they were never attractive, from head to toe, my family loved ourselves just as we were created. These eugenicist minds, they just demonized the appearance of the indigenous black-skinned people they found when they went out in search of fortune, because they lacked from whence they came. And they came to our lands, traveled so far, and we were accommodating, we were sharing, we were showing, teaching, and they learned as much as they could. And instead of saying thank you, they set out to commit genocide worldwide. This is how I know they're full of shit. They have a problem with the black people from Africa. But if you look at Africa, yes, you have many different African nations where the people they look like they are related, they look alike, right? And then in those same nations, there are people who don't look alike. You have varying degrees, they have varying shades of complexion. You have East and West Africans that are indistinguishable. But then you also have the Ethiopians, Somalis, and Eritreans. They look like they're related, and they look different from the other Africans. And we can suspect that it's, again, these people travel and they go to our nations. And what do? They rape. They say how ugly we are, right? Well, the black people have these big, wide, ugly noses. That's what they say. So how do they decide to make the world more beautiful? Is to have sex with some black woman from some African nation, rape her, impregnate her, and supposedly she's gonna have a child who is far more attractive than if she had been with her male counterpart from her part of the world. You see? But here, these same people, right? They have rated and graded their own. So on their scale of beauty, the redheads are the most demonized. The redheads are the ones most hated. The redheads are the ones who are bullied. The redheads are not considered beautiful by these white people. These white people think it's blonde and blue eyes. And then I'm like, wait a minute. when I look around, I see the white women who have black hair. They look really beautiful to me. But then I discover the white women with black hair, most of them dyed their hair. And many of the white women with blonde hair, most of them bleached their hair, then applied a blonde shade. Okay? And even the redheads. You see the redheads and oh, what a beautiful... Oh no, it came from a box, from a bottle. It's not natural. So white people are the ones, it seems, who really didn't care for their appearance. They didn't like how they looked. And what they did is have all these black people thinking something is wrong with them. They had so many Europeans, Germans, Poles, Russians, Polish people. Where did they go? They left their lands, Poland, and they went to Brazil, Venezuela, Argentina. They went to Mexico. They went to these places and they brought Spanish language, and they brought with them their superiority complex to the point where now in Brazil, I mean, they have decided what is a standard model of beauty, and it's completely fabricated Brazilian butt lift. Who do you think they're trying to look like physically by raising the buttocks and inflating it cosmetically, surgically? It's the Africans, the same Africans that they claimed were so hideous. They try to look like us. They have Botox. Botox injection is poison into your skin so that your lips blow up. You know how many years I heard white people make fun, and black ones too, because the white people teach the black people to hate themselves and others. So they were laughing at those black people with what is called thick lips or big lips. They laughed at them and ridiculed, made fun of them. They had their cartoon characters drawn, exaggerating that appearance and laughing at it. The big, wide nose and the thick lips. Ugh, so ugly. No, that tells me you envied that. You were jealous of their appearance and their bodies, the black bodies. You look at your body. I know you have a hard time building muscle. I have seen, it is seldom that you see a white male with a muscular body that is naturally so. Meanwhile, you have majority of the black young men just have naturally occurring muscles, musculature. Like even I, when I was younger, my body was naturally, well, how natural is that? Because I was athletic, I was physically active. On an island, we climbed trees. No, we're not monkeys. We didn't even have monkeys on my island. But I was climbing trees, and I was swimming in the sea, and bathing in the river. You know, the river has a current. You gotta have some strong muscles to withstand the current, or you will just be taken away down to the sea. So we run, we jump, we play out in the sun, so we have our vitamin D, and we're healthy and we're strong. But you're sickly and you're weak and you're envious. You're envious so much. You cannot appreciate all that we are, so you demonize us. You demonize us. So the redheads you consider to be ugly. I remember in my family, we had a cousin. She actually moved to Detroit from Dominica. She was her demeanor, her she was very mild-mannered and always smiling and laughing and pleasant. That's how I remember her. She had freckles, the green eyes. Did she have green eyes? I know she had red hair and freckles. It was natural. And she was black. And she had the texture of the black people. Her hair was the black people's hair. And her nose, you could see that she was black despite the red hair and freckled face. She was beautiful, right? She was. She's now deceased. But I just find that these so-called eugenicists have done a number on this earth. They've really messed things up, and they are going more and more towards, it's reached a point where it's just unnatural, and that's what they think is beautiful, and they want to take us away from nature in so many different ways. Burning down the rainforest, burning down in Australia, burning in Brazil, just setting fires, and they're doing these fires with their technology. The weather conditions, that's their weaponry against us. Our nations are being destroyed by fires and rainstorms and high winds of tornadoes and hurricanes, and everything is destroyed, and our food crops being just washed away, trying to kill us off. They keep trying to kill us, but like weeds, we're still here because it's not right what you're doing. I speak freely, and I don't fabricate anything. I don't embellish anything. I tell it as it is. And what I find is, at every turn for decades, those so-called powers that be, trifling. They have nothing better to do but try to discourage me and, terms and conditions and blah, blah, blah nonsense. Meanwhile, they forced our children, they forced us as children, they forced black children to study these lies that they call history. Meanwhile, the truth, I cannot tell it as I see it. That's just the unbalance in the world. The world is unbalanced. We need a shake-up. So I urge and I pray to, I'm not in the habit of praying in this way. I'm a very unconventional person. I have a great respect for the planet because I arrived here as an orphan. Yes, but I always felt I had a mother and father that I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, and yet I could hear and see. Every time I'm out in the garden, every time I'm in nature, when I was swimming in the rivers, in the sea, climbing in the trees, there was God always with me. When I'm in my room alone, and I've done this for years, every winter, I write and write, because it's therapeutic. But there's always a presence. There's always a presence. I always have a presence. Why is that? Because I was a baby, I was molested, right? I was an infant molested by a grown man. So it's as though after that event, I've had protection. So when I encounter people who say they are witches and they're doing hocus pocus rituals and spells, and they talk this way of what they're going to do, and they're going to call this spirit to do that to you, I'm not afraid. And I don't go to the church because I see, look at the Vatican, look at the Pope. What is this Pope? Is he a gay dude? Because all these years they were telling people to be gay is wrong and it's an abomination. It's in the Bible, right? It's in the Bible, but suddenly up pops a Pope, a new Pope. And he has different ideology, and he says very different things. So people who have been forced, beaten to accept these religions, people who it was beaten into them, and they absorbed it, and they became so devout, their faith so strong, their God so great. And then decades later, maybe a generation or two later, they are then told, you're stupid. You are stupid to believe in God. You are stupid to believe in Jesus. It's a mind fuck. They are always mind fucking. And that's why I urge you black people, stop following these, what shall I call them? Because whatever I say, people take offense. So let me be very careful with my words. But what do you call people who are so disagreeable and miserable and creating such chaos and strife? We were given this planet with, I don't know about them. It seems like they didn't have anything where they come from. But from whence we came and from whence we come, there is abundance, right? We were never hungry. When you see Africans starving, how the hell can Africans be starving? It's because they want Africans to starve. France, Belgium, Germany, the US, England, all of these are robbing Africa and have done so for so long. Why? Because those so-called leaders are not real. They're just actors. I saw a picture today, it was video, a lot filled with these big black SUVs. Meanwhile, the people who are working in the schools, the teachers have not been paid. They are there to educate children. And the teacher has no money to buy food for the family, for their own families. Because now you have unleashed your virus that you created in a lab. You invested, you funded research at your universities. You, along with the Chinese, in bed together. The markets worldwide, global, saturated with made in China, made in China, made in China. Like you chose your favorite freaking Asians. You don't care for the Koreans. You don't care for Taiwanese. You don't care for Japanese. You used to love the Japanese. What happened? You used to love the Japanese. And you didn't care for the Chinese, right? For the longest while, suddenly there was a change, a switch, a flip the script, and you love the Chinese so much that even in Canada, when you look at public health, people employed in public health, lots of Chinese. And that's been going on for years now. The head of the public health in Canada, Chinese. And pardon me, she's ugly. We're talking about ugly, right? She's ugly. She's every day on the TV. Wash your hands. Practice social distancing. Social distancing. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. That's all this bitch repeats. Pardon me. They say ugly dogs, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, she's not beautiful, but you try to push that shit by saying that they are more beautiful than us. That's a load of crap. And neither are you. You're not more beautiful than us. I see black people every day, beautiful. And you know when they are most beautiful? When they are most natural. Nothing can touch that. And then you have them believing that they're ugly and they're putting on their head freaking synthetic hair to look like Chinese, right? I've had Asian friends. I've had Chinese, ones from Laos. I always forget what it's called. I haven't been around them in so long. But I see their hair. They didn't like their hair. The younger of the girls, she was like 17, 18. And mind you, at the age of 16, 17, she was pursued by this white man who had been a teacher in the US. I don't know why he was in Canada, but here he is dating this teen girl, right? And his sister, who was a couple years older, was so furious, and hated that guy. But the young Asian girl was with that guy because he was giving her money. Now, I don't know if he was having sex with her. I hope he wasn't. But he was giving her money. So, you decide, right? But this girl, her hair was every single day she had to wash her hair. And even after she washed her hair, it always ended up looking really greasy. Greasy, because it's so straight and thin. Very thin, fine, straight hair. That means the oils from her scalp just run down the locks of hair and coat, and it doesn't look very attractive. Her older sister had much nicer hair because it was more full and a little bit of wave to it. So it didn't, because when the oils from your scalp have to travel down the shaft, the hair locks, that's why black people's hair look dry. Our hair is not dry. It's an appearance, because we have oils in our scalp too. But our hair is so coiled and curled and kinked in some cases that it's quite a journey for the oils, the natural oils in our hair, to make the little rounds in our beautiful little tendrils and curls. But it tends to give our hair the appearance of dryness. Now, I'd rather my hair be dry than greasy, which is why I am not known to oil my scalp very much. I sometimes do it because I don't like. I think if you put the oil on your scalp, it's running down your face is greasy, and you're breaking out. No. But that's a natural condition for Asian hair. Now, I knew a Filipino girl, oh my gosh, her hair, again, bone straight. She could do nothing with it but just have a shortcut. It was just so straight and could do nothing, but black people would kill for that hair. They love that hair because they've been told that their hair is not nice. Black hair is beautiful. If you ever touch it, you come to a black person, but don't touch our hair because your hands are not clean. But if you touch black hair, you just don't want to take your hand out of it. Pardon me, I'm having sips of my water. Our hair is, even if you think it's ugly, whatever, you don't. You don't think it's ugly. You're doing mind fucks. It's like psychological warfare. But you touch black hair, I had my last serious boyfriend. He had this thick hair. His parents were Jamaican and Guyanese. Jamaican mama, Guyanese daddy. And his hair was thick, black. And he started to grow locks because I had locks. I seemed, a lot of people come around me and boom, they are growing locks. Good. It's beautiful. And then I get you to love your hair. When you love your hair, you can grow locks, especially growing locks and not being obsessed with twisting at the root. That's when and how I know you love yourself. And how did I make him love himself? I touched his hair all the time, ran my finger through it, twisted around my finger, and touch it, and it was like boing, 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 boing. It was like it was bouncy. You take your little fingertip and you always find these little tiny little curls, and you push against them and they bounce, they boing, boing, boing. Like a slinky, but a small one in the head. So, yes, it is said that the most beautiful white women are the brunettes. Brunettes, I've seen many brunettes look a lot better than blondes. But you are telling the world that blonde it is. No, it's not. Of course they are beautiful blondes. They are beautiful everyone's. But you're trying the way you are, according to you, only the blonde is beautiful. That's bullshit. Do you know one of the most beautiful black women, Caucasian, is she Caucasian? Something tells me she may have some indigenous roots. But she was playing the role of Wonder Woman Carter. Linda Carter, I believe is her name. I saw Linda Carter perform in a variety show on TV once, and I was so disappointed that I never saw her do that again. because I think she was the most beautiful and talented, because, you know, she was like what they say, the triple threat. She could sing, dance, and act very well. She was so entertaining. I believe we didn't see more of her because she wasn't blonde, right? That's how it goes. We cannot listen to these ugly Caucasian males because they tend to be ugly. They love to wear a suit. They're ugly. You know, these guys who are doing these funding these viruses and funding the cure. So let's create a problem and then let's solve it, and the world will see how great we are. That's your greatness. Your greatness is fabricated. So therefore, it's not natural, it's not normal, and it's invalid as far as I'm concerned. But you know, you fool the world. You put a veil over the eyes of those who choose to listen to you instead of opening their eyes, thinking critically, opening their ears, reading between the lines, and seeing things as they truly are. But when you make ghettos for people, you put people in, you know, you put people in these places and spaces and groups and boundaries, and then you shake it up. You shake it up so that they have to move. Some disaster happens, you know, like New Orleans and the hurricane, and people had to take off from New Orleans, and they went to, how do you say this, Atlanta and North and South Carolina. They went to other places. So they left their roots. Same thing you did to indigenous people, you continue to do today. Because I don't think you are really human like us. I don't think so. The original people, you met us here. You met us here, and we, in many cases, we accepted you. There were those who were warlike and defended their territories and fought, but you brought your heavier artillery, and you have been genocidal. You have been killing people. Look what you've done to the Haitians. And I heard so many things that these Clintons have done in Haiti, and they're still out there free. Are they free birds? Free as birds. Why is that? It's just, you know, you don't want me to talk, you don't want me to speak. Like, tell me where's the lie. That's what, here's my challenge to you. For anyone who thinks, shut her down, she's against, we have our policy, and it's what is this, terms and conditions. It's the same freaking shit from Ray's book, right? It's the same thing at YouTube. It's the same people. They golf together, they do their drugs together, they molest children together, they like blood of our children, sex with our children. Yes, they're not us, they're not like us, and they don't like us. They just like sex with us. And they like to see what is created from the mix. So everywhere you look today, you see a black male, white female, black male, white female, black male, white, black male, Asian, black. They don't promote black male and black man and black woman. They just don't do that. My biggest problem is that the black people are just accepting all this gray. They're accepting it. So I'm choosing to, self-edit. I'm being very careful how I speak, the words I use, because people are so quick to take offense. Meanwhile, they wrote a lot of shit in these books called history books. I never excelled in history class, because in history class, I was like, that's some bullshit. And I'm not attentive, so I'm going to dream. I'm going to daydream in my class today. Yes, and that's so I never followed any of the history because I knew it was all false, which is the same reason why I fell out of the church. I was put in the Catholic Church, baptized, First Communion, and by the time I was ready to have my confirmation, I said, no, that's some bullshit. And I dropped out of that shit. But throughout it all, I have a notion, I have a feeling, a sense of a presence. I am divinely protected. I am loved, and I love. I love, and I am loved. I am a beloved child. And The omniverse lovingly takes care of me now and forever. I am Dominadella PIE. It's Pie. Mistress Sasha Storm. Thank you. Good night.